Hey guys, what's up? It's Alex or Nuznas here, and today's video is going to be talking about an overpowered ranged combo that no one seems to be talking about. Now, the only place I've seen this is at Gregorovic, and I first found out about this combination while I was looking for a way to AFK Gregorovic for a future video. So I went to the PVME Discord and I found that they had an AFK Gregorovic guide. And then I scrolled down and I saw they had one with ranged. I thought, that's interesting, and basically the ranged guide utilizes a few things. It utilizes the Wyvern crossbow, which if you don't know, the Wyvern crossbow is a two-handed crossbow that has a damage over time effect appearing as poison hit splats, which deals more damage the longer the player is attacking a target. You can actually also couple this with Cinderbanes and Weapon Poison for more poison damage too. And then the other super overpowered thing is couple all this with Salt the Wound and greater Dazing Shot ability that is unlocked from the Shattered Worlds. So Salt the Wound deals ability damage ranging between 37% and 188%, and it can increase to 73% and 368%, while Puncture is stacked 10 times. Now what is Puncture? Well, Grading Dazing Shot is also a basic ability that applies a stack of Puncture to the target that basically deals 8 to 10% ability damage every 1.8 seconds for 9 seconds. So basically a ton of really small hits. It can stack up to 10 times, with each stack resetting the duration. But each one of these small hits has a chance to reapply your poison damage, which really boosts your poison damage as well. So in conclusion, if that's a bit too confusing for you, I'll sum it up here. So Greater Dazing Shot is going to stack Puncture with small little hits that have a chance to reapply poison to the target, thus dealing more poison damage. And with 10 Puncture stacks, the Salt the Wound threshold ability will deal 73% to 368% damage, which is even more overpowered. Finally, you can couple all this with the Blood Reaver Familiar, which the Blood Reaver Familiar deals 25% of the player's healing damage to its target. This includes Soul Split, so it's super good when you're soul splitting, and the Blood Reaver also synergizes very well with Cinderbane gloves, because each hit splat gives an additional chance to proc poison, so when you're using Soul Split or the Vampirism Aura, the Blood Reaver gives an additional hit splat for each form of healing you're using. If you couple both of those, Vampirism Aura and Soul Split and Cinderbanes, the Blood Reaver can triple your poison damage. So to sum it up, this is a combination that is absolutely crazy and will give you so much poison damage. So it is the Wyvern Crossbow with using Greater Dazing Shot, Salt the Wound threshold ability, Cinderbane gloves, Weapon Poison, along with a Blood Reaver Familiar, while using something like a Vampirism Scrimshaw and Soul Split. Also, Quorum Incense Sticks will add to your damage as well. So it sounds a bit complicated, but it is super OP, but the only place I had seen it used was Gregorovic. I hadn't seen any guides trying it anywhere else, so I decided I would test this overpowered combination at other places and see how it does. So the first place I decided to go and test this combination was Corporal Beast. Wait, what? Corporal Beast? Don't you melee corp? Well, Corp can actually take range damage, although it's not very effective and no one really ranges Corp, or so I thought. Corp is also poisonable, but since Corp eats your familiars, I couldn't really use the Blood Reaver to give this combination its full potential, but I did try to AFK Corp with a Revolution Bar with ranged, and it surprisingly worked, and pretty good. I was getting around 50 to 55 second kills, which was around the same time I get with my melee setup. I was also sustaining food pretty well with the Vampirism Aura while camping Soul Split, and the poison damage was just unleashing on Corp. I was really shocked by this, and I went back and I looked at some of my melee corp kills, and although I was using a superior Vestus spear and not a masterwork spear, I was honestly getting near the same kill speed. And when I melee corped, I was also using things like Vampirism Scrimshaw to maintain health, and I was really surprised that I was maintaining health without that. Ranging corp with this method is kind of viable AFK wise, and while it may not be as good as melee, if you don't have trip masterwork or a really good melee setup and you want to do corp with ranged, this is a viable option. If you guys would like to see me come out with a guide on this, let me know down below, and I'll do some more testing and fine tuning and try to find the most optimal setup to AFK corp with ranged. So I knew how good this method was at Gregorovic, as like I said before, it's the only place I've ever seen this used or talked about or anything like that. But I decided to take this method to another God Wars boss that's poisonable at Hellwear and try it out. Now normally you don't range Hellwear at all, usually melee or mage, and I didn't want to go try hard mode and use a ton of crazy rotations, so I decided to see for myself if I could use this method with the Blood Reaver and see if I could AFK Hellwear as much as you possibly can AFK Hellwear. Now, with a boss like Hellwear, you can never really totally AFK because you'll have to switch your prayer a few times or move out of the little mushroom pools. But I decided to try anyway, and I went into Hellwear and I had my revolution bar set up, and I was determined to basically not input any abilities for as long as possible. I really wanted to see if this was possible to do without going super crazy DPS mode. Well, I went in and I ended up getting an absolute monster personal record. I think I shaved like 20 seconds off my last personal best, and I got a 36-second kill without even trying, really. It was just absolutely insane. I hardly pressed any abilities. I just really let my revolution go off, and I only ended up inputting a few things. I would turn on melee prayer when Hellwear used its special attack like the We Will Bleed or the Maul attack, and I would walk a few steps to get out of the acid mushrooms if they came onto me. That's it. It was honestly crazy. Like, I knew how good it was at a place like Gregorovic because that was pretty much the meta if you were ranging, but I really never knew how good it would be somewhere else, and I thought maybe there's a reason that people don't use this at other bosses, but I was honestly shocked. It was honestly really, really good at Hellwear. So in conclusion, what do I feel about this method? Well, usually this method, like I said, is only really used or talked about at a place like Gregorovic to AFK. But, you know, after testing it, I think this method is pretty OP at anywhere you can poison a monster and range it and soul split. So for a place like Hellwear, based on the PVME wiki, they have around 30-second kills with max melee gear, and they were using pretty sound rotations and weren't using revolution. So while this method doesn't quite hit the optimal melee method in terms of kill speed or kills per hour, it's still really, really good. And I think trying this combo out at bosses like God Wars 2 for beginners is really, really overpowered. Greater ricochet, like I have, of course helps, but it's not the reason that this method is so good. It's really how you couple everything I said before, all the poison damage with the Blood Reaver. It's just really, really strong. Now this is just my early testing, but I was really excited to get this video out and share it with all of you, and I definitely want to do some more testing on different bosses, and maybe I'll come out with some guides if this method is viable in certain places. But just based on my initial findings and testings, it's honestly a lot better than some of the traditional setups that I see out there, and if you're someone that ranges a lot, it's worth a try. Let me know what you guys think about this combination, and should I come out with a Corp or Hellwear guide with it? Let me know down below, and make sure to leave a like on this video to get it out to more people. It really helps. And make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any more videos. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.